Hello everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. We've got some Newcastle Takeover talk. It's a complete roundup of everything that's happened over the last 12 hours. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Massive news. We've seen this all before, but let's hear what Pete Graves has to say. He's one of the most respected journalists covering Newcastle United. He's given a big mention on his Instagram page about the latest that's going on with Newcastle United. Pete, take it away.
Righty-ho, quick update for Newcastle United fans. Some of you have been asking me. If you look at Sky Sports News right now, the yellow breaking news is about your football club, and sources really close to the deal have confirmed that it's as close as it's ever been. The sale of the football club from Mike Ashley to PCP Capital Partners, which is Amanda Staveley's consortium. Just to say, the documents doing the rounds on Twitter and elsewhere, which you guys have found, they are genuine legal documents, and we will have more updates on Sky Sports News later on through the day, and I'll try and put some on myself. But yeah, patience, as I've said since January, is the key. These are strange times in the world, and this just makes the week even stranger. I hope you're all keeping safe. We will keep you up to date, and yeah, this is close. Definitely close, certainly closer than it's ever been. And Mike Ashley looking ever increasingly likely to sell Newcastle United Football Club to Amanda Staveley's consortium. We'll keep you up to date.
Some really exciting news that could potentially happen for Newcastle United. Let's go into little by little what everything means in the last 12 hours. So, we saw this morning that legal documents had been rumoured on Twitter, certain things that have been going on between the PCP Capital Partners Group, which Amanda Staveley owns, and St James's Holdings, which obviously Mike Ashley owns. And it basically shows that Mike Ashley will transfer shares from St James's Holdings, Newcastle United, to PCP Capital Partners, which is Amanda Staveley. Now, obviously, since then, there's been rumours of what this deal is going to be. So, Amanda Staveley, rumoured, as it's just reported, that has paid £13 million as a deposit fee. Now, this kind of grants her exclusivity in terms of the whole deal. So it means that she's basically in prime position to take over at Newcastle United. From this 13 million, it'll be £200 million up front. This is what the Daily Mail are reporting. And that deal roughly is around about 350 million. You're probably thinking, where's the other £150 million coming from? Well, bizarrely, some people would say, Mike Ashley is giving Amanda Staveley the £150 million as more like a loan to accelerate the deal. It's not massively strange for this to happen. Sunderland, just down the road, LF Short and Stuart Donald did a deal very, very similar to kind of speed the process up for Stuart Donald to take over. So it is quite similar, but obviously it's a lot more money being involved in this deal. Now, you're probably thinking, why? Why would Mike Ashley agree to doing this, and why would Amanda Staveley agree to it as well? So there's a couple of things. The main thing is Amanda Staveley doesn't have that sort of money. She's got 200 million. It's a little bit less, well, actually more than a little bit, a lot less than what Mike Ashley wants in total. Now, Mike Ashley will have 5 years worth of instalments from that 150 million. You would think maybe £30 million a year. It might be bigger, little, it doesn't really matter. He will get that 150 million. And from that 150 million loan, he will have the security of the PCP Capital Partners assets, which basically means if something was to go wrong, he would still get his money from the company because he would have a sort of a security and a control of that company. So it's a lot to go through straight away. Another reason why Mike Ashley and Amanda Staveley would do this, because it would speed up the fit and proper persons test up as well. It normally would take, obviously coronavirus not happening, around about 4 weeks. Because Mike Ashley is putting in his own money and has been an owner, essentially that would speed up the process. How quickly will that speed up the process, again, remains to be seen. Now, you're probably thinking, well, where do the Reuben brothers come into this? Where do the Public Investment Fund come into this? Very good question. So, in terms of the Reuben brothers, they've lent money to Amanda Staveley to help this process up. Amanda Staveley has also become a director of a company which is called JV1 Limited. The JV meaning a joint venture. So for business terms, you're basically working together to obviously complete the process of a deal, which obviously goes back to the £13 million that Amanda Staveley has been put as a deposit for Newcastle United. You would think if you're putting that amount of money up as a deposit, a deal is either closed or a deal is confident of being done. Again, I'm no legal expert and no business expert. I'm just kind of looking at all the information that has been provided by obviously people that know a little bit more than what everybody else does, which it leaves you to have your own opinion of it, which is what we're all about. Now, the Public Investment Fund, this is quite fascinating. So, Amanda Staveley does all the dog work essentially by doing all the paperwork, getting a deal done with Mike Ashley, and obviously Amanda Staveley will be the holder of Newcastle United. She will own the club. The Public Investment Fund are looking to buy shares off PCP Capital Partners, which basically takes Mike Ashley out of the equation. You know, it's two separate companies. Ashley still has that £150 million, but he won't have day-to-day control of the football club, which he has at the minute because he does own the club. When that's taken off him, he has no involvement, he has no say. So it is very, very interesting how everything is coming about. Now, the biggest issue is, for me, is that this is the closest the deal has ever come to. It is really, really close now. We've seen Keith Downey talk, we've seen Pete Graves talk about how close it potentially can be. It's not done. They're both stressing it's not done, but it is the closest that Newcastle United have been to a potential takeover. And if it was to fall now, by God, I think everyone would give up on a potential takeover of Newcastle United. Really will be very, very downbeat, because again, this is something that 99% of Newcastle fans want. They want Mike Ashley to leave the club, so Newcastle can become a bit more ambitious and have more of a positive future with Newcastle United. So it is very, very exciting times, but like most people are saying, this is kind of my phrase at the minute, put the cans on ice. It is very, very fascinating. Amanda Staveley will have her own ideas. What does that mean for Steve Bruce? What does that mean to the players for Newcastle United? Again, it's another massive question, but we can only probably go into more depth in these questions when the deal is done. And I think the rumour is 80% that the Public Investment Fund would want, which PCP could sell to them, which obviously you put your 80% for PCP, 10% for the Reuben brothers, and 10% for Amanda Staveley. So it is very exciting, but again, I think there'll still be some Newcastle fans, and rightly so, will be going, let's wait until one of them, mainly Amanda Staveley, who will probably be the one that will run the day-to-day operations of Newcastle United inside St James's or with a Newcastle scarf and saying that the deal is done. But we want to get your thoughts on it, get your opinions on everything that's going on in terms of Newcastle United and this supposed takeover. Do you believe it? That's the brutal question. Do you believe that this can happen? And have we seen the last of Mike Ashley at Newcastle United throughout his whole tenure? It's massive, massive news. But yeah, like and subscribe, get your comments in. We'll try and reply as many as possible. And keep an eye on all our socials if you want all the breaking news in regard to a potential takeover as well with Newcastle United. So yeah, like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you all later on throughout the week.